All right, welcome to Monday Morning Motivation. My name is Aspen Calhoun. For those of you who I've never met, or if this is your first time on Monday Morning Motivation, I have been a Gen-Z consultant for a little over 3 years, and doing motivation is what I love the very most. It's my favorite thing, I guess my favorite part of being a leader. So thank you so much for joining me, and for those of you who have been on before, thanks again for joining, and I hope that you share Monday Morning Motivation with your teams. I always post a link of a recording afterwards, so you can find that and share as well. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about motivation, and then we're going to go into our topic for the day. So I think it's important that we all realize that motivation comes within ourselves, and this is something that I've talked about in the past, but we have to make a conscious decision to be motivated. And you guys know just from living life that that affects your everyday life. As far as, say, okay, this weekend, if you chose not to do anything and you lay down around on the couch all weekend, you weren't motivated because you chose not to be. It's the same thing for your business. If you choose every day to do nothing with your business, then you will not be motivated to move forward with it. So you have to make that conscious decision to be the person that tells yourself to get going, and you're not waiting for someone else to tell you. At the same time, we have to learn to use outside sources. Find the things that motivate you. Know your motivators. Know that if you listen to a podcast, it really gets you moving for the day and gives you good ideas. Know that if you can speak to someone on the phone that inspires you or that is doing a great job or is very successful with their business, that it will motivate you to do the same. Know the things that you can listen to, the people that you can speak to, the things that you can read. Learn what your outside sources are so that you can motivate yourself without someone giving you a kick in the booty every once in a while. Also, make it a daily conscious choice to be whatever your goal is. If you know what your goals are, and you should, because you should have them written down and know where you're going, be who you want to be. You might wake up today as a certified consultant, but if you're acting as a leader, then you're going to be growing as a leader, and you're going to be growing your team, and you're going to be growing your business, and you're going to be doing the things that you need to do to be able to move forward. So if you're already acting like you are a director and doing everything you need to do as a leader, then those are the things that you're going to turn into, because you're already making the movements towards what you want to be. And I just really love this quote that I found. Just when the caterpillar thought the world was over, he became a butterfly. So if you're focused on what you are right now rather than who you want to become, that's exactly what you'll be. So just when you think you'll always be an essential consultant or you'll always be a superstar consultant, as soon as you turn around, as soon as you keep moving, you will automatically be your goal, your dream. All right, so let's get started. What I'm going to talk about today is habits. And we all have habits. We have good habits. We have bad habits. Our life is made up of habits, no matter what they are. And I have another quote here, and I'm kind of going to break down the quote. We're going to talk about several different things, and hopefully you can learn a little bit about your habits and know how to use them and how to change them so that you can be more successful no matter how successful you already are. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. So let's move forward and kind of break this down a little bit. We are what we repeatedly do. Take a second to think about what you repeatedly do with your business. Do you wake up every day and say, well, so-and-so successful, and someday maybe that'll happen for me? Are you doing nothing to move forward with your goals and your dreams? Do you have goals and dreams? What are your habits? Do you think about them? Do you act consciously on what you're repeating every single day? If you have nothing that you do every single day for your business, you need to make a plan. You need to have a plan to where you're moving, because if you don't plan your habits, you're going to pick up habits that you don't want. Are you doing too much? Are you working so hard on a million different things that you don't have one thing that really matters. Be sure you're prioritizing your day. Make sure that you are balancing with sales and team and learning and training and growing yourself, because all of those things are important. And if you're doing a million things that don't matter, it's hard to make several really important things matter. And also learn from your mistakes. If you have done 5 open houses at your house in the last 3 months and they haven't turned out very well, learn from those mistakes. Move your open house somewhere else. Convince your friend to have it at their house and you'll invite all the people. Learn from the things that aren't working. If you are trying to hold team meetings and only a couple of people are coming, think about those things and learn what's going on. And know also that you have to grow from your falls. If you had a team meeting and you only had one person show up, that's okay too, because that doesn't mean it'll always only be one person that shows up. You cannot beat yourself up, because when you look at a situation and you're thinking, okay, here's what I'm doing and it's not working, if you continue to focus on that, that's exactly where your focus is, and that's where your habit will turn. That's what you'll do tomorrow when you wake up. Well, I know this isn't working, because that's what you're focusing on. Focus on what can be new and what can teach you to grow your business, teach you to lead, and teach you to have new growth. Repeat and duplicate what works. This is something that I talked about in my training webinar last Thursday. For those of you who are on, you probably remember. If you see something that's working for someone else, if you haven't done it yourself, it's a new idea. If someone is sharing something, that doesn't mean you're copying. If you have things that work yourself, if you have open houses that are amazing, continue to repeat them. If you have a certain way of recruiting or speaking with people and it works, continue to do that. Make a list of the things that work and the things that don't, and remember those things, because a lot of times we'll go out and we'll talk to somebody and it goes great and they end up signing up and it was amazing, but 2 months down the road we forgot what we did and we don't remember where our successes were. And remember that if we continue to repeat the tiny things that work, all of a sudden they begin to snowball. You have to be your own successes over and over and over. If something works, don't change it. And remember, if something doesn't work, you can change it even in a small way to make it work. So you create your own success through habit to make those things work for you. So let's get on to excellence. Excellence is a huge word, because when you think of the word excellence, it's the utmost, the highest you can think of any one thing. But it also has a personalized meaning. So what is your excellence? When you think of excellence and your Scentsy business, what is yours? Create a picture, and if you want, some people are writers, so if you're a writer or you do journaling or write things down, if that helps you, write it down. What is the ultimate for your business? If you could create excellence in your Scentsy business, what would that picture look like? Talk about it with your spouse or your friend or another consultant or your business partner, whoever that is. Talk about the picture that you want to create. Also, creating excellence in yourself is a big thing, because I would say 99.999 of us don't look at ourselves and think, oh, that's excellent. I'm doing an excellent job. I'm excellent. Things are going excellent. We don't do that with ourselves. We go back to, well, I can change this, and this needs changed, and that. But think of yourself, and I want you to also write down what you're doing that is excellent. What is working well? And once you start writing those down, that's something that's going to help you start to believe in yourself and believe that you can create excellence within yourself and within your business. Not only that, but through your life. If you are happy in your daily life with the things that go on with taking the kids to school or sports or your other job or your home, if you're creating excellence in all areas of your life, excellence will also be created in your business. If you're not happy in one place, it's hard to be happy in another without faking it. Also, change in your excellence means growth. So if you think back 5 years ago, what you would have pictured excellence as, it is a completely different picture of what you have in your head right now. because when we grow, our personalized meaning of excellence changes. Your excellence can change from today to tomorrow, from this month to next month. So continue to grow your picture of excellence just like you continue to grow and change your goals with your business. Failure doesn't mean that you're not excellent. Being excellent does not mean that you have never failed. And the idea that when we think of someone, think of a person right now that you would call excellent in everything that they do, their business, their life, their family. It's picture perfect. But I can guarantee you, whatever their picture looks like to you, that does not mean that they have never failed. Because when you flub up, you make mistakes, you fall down, those are the things that polish you, that create your own excellence. And when I told you before to create a picture of excellence, I don't want you to get an idea in your head that you're not going to have mishaps along the way, that you're not going to fail, that things are always going to work perfectly, because the word perfect and the word excellence are not the same. So remember that on your way to excellence in your business, you will fail, but that doesn't mean that you won't be excellent and you can't be excellent and that you aren't excellent right now. So let's go back to habits. A single act versus a habit. An act is something that you do one time. And like I said before, when we have things that we do or acts that we do well or that work well, we can change an act to a habit by repeating it. And a habit then is a settled or regular tendency to practice something, do something over and over and over again until we can't stop ourselves. We continue to talk to everyone we know because we've done it enough that we're comfortable with it, and now we do it over and over and over out of habit. Every time we check out at the grocery store, we automatically talk to the clerk about your Scentsy business because it's habit. If you do it one time, it's an act. So make a list maybe of some good acts that you've done in the past that have worked. Say the one time you ran into that lady and she saw your decal, so you gave her a catalog. The one time you talked to the other mom at school or the other dad at school about Scentsy and it worked out. Turn those acts into habits. So excellence, therefore, is not an act but a habit. Like I said, repetition through successful acts create habits. Go back to your paper again and write down what acts you've done, like I said, and create habits out of those. And it's a conscious act to create a habit. And after a while, you won't even realize that you have these good habits. The other thing is perseverance. One successful act, unsuccessful act does not destroy excellence, and we talked about this a couple of slides ago. Remember that, okay, say I come up with a list of acts, and it says, okay, these are the things that have worked in the past. I have 5 things here. When I did this, it worked. When I did this, it worked. When I did this, it worked, and so far and so on. So say I'm going to start repeating these to create habits. Okay, first one on the list. When I talked to so-and-so and so-and-so, I booked a party. So I'm going to go out and do this again. Just because it doesn't work this time, that doesn't destroy what you're moving towards. You have to continue with those things. You have to persevere. And you know in your mind the things that will work if you continue to persevere with them. And making these lists will help you because it will show you consciously and it will make you conscious of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis to create good habits versus bad habits. So I want to talk about a little bit about your habits and creating success out of the ones that you have. And we have to remember that success is a hard thing and it's a big word as well as excellence. And when we look at a business, personally, when I look at Scentsy as a business, I look at leaders and I look at the leaders of the company and I think of them, of course, as super successful. And so in our minds, if we can say, okay, here is where I want to be because this is my excellence, out of habit, we need to create that success. And we'll never know, I mean, the odds are against us that we're actually going to be able to sit down with that person and say, okay, tell me exactly what you're doing, and I'm going to replicate that. That's impossible. not only to the extent that you may have never met them or you may never meet that person, but at the same time, what's working for them may not work the same for you because you are your own person. So you have to know what your own success looks like and create your own habits. When you see someone build a house, there's people that work on it every single day. And from, say, down the street, the house looks like it goes up flawlessly. They dig the foundation, they put the concrete down, they start building the floors, they build the walls, and then all of a sudden you can't see in the house, and then up goes the roof, and pretty soon they're landscaping the yard. From taking a step back, it looks flawless. From the ground up, it all goes together so smoothly. But that doesn't mean the people that worked on the house didn't smash their fingers with a hammer every once in a while. That doesn't mean that the design didn't go exactly as planned. It doesn't mean that the wood that they ordered wasn't enough. Those things are unseen. What you see is the final result. So if you want to create your own success while you're building that house, you have to continue not to give up. You have to continue to know where your successes are. You have to continue to know that every time you drive a nail, that another piece is being built. You can build your own success. And think of your business that way. Think of it as, okay, if every day I add another beam or another 2x4 to my home, eventually I'm going to build a house. I'm going to build a foundation. I'm going to build an excellence that I have created on my own, that I have built on my own from the ground up. And that's only done out of habit. Because if you're building a house and it's one act, you go one day, you dig a foundation, and it's done. There will never be a house. So that habit, adding to your business every single day, is one of the most important things that you can do. So I have a little bit of habits homework for you guys, and I know I always tell you guys, okay, yes, I do give out habits homework, but it's something you can and can't do. I realize that everyone has very, very busy lives, so it's not mandatory. If you don't have time to write it down, at least take some time to think about it. I want you to take a step back and re-examine your daily and weekly routine. Do you have a routine, first of all? If you don't, you better have a routine because, like I said, if you go one day and build a foundation and never go back to pour concrete or build a floor or put a stick on that house, you're not going to build your success that you're seeing as your picture of excellence. So re-examine what you're doing. Re-examine your daily habits. If you're spending the entire day on the phone calling people you know and chit-chatting about Scentsy and this and that, and it's not getting you anywhere, change that habit. Remember the things that have worked for you and repeat those things. Also, be conscious of what you're doing. Take note of what you're doing over and over and over, and be conscious of whether or not it's working. Be conscious of the way you're speaking with your team. Be conscious of the way you're speaking with people around you about your business, and create some new habits. If you have 3 successful habits that you can consciously write down and know of, create new ones. And put some thought into what your new habits will be. Put some thought into what you're going to do, say, from now through the end of April, just to try them out. Try out some new habits in your business, and then at the end of that time, come back to your paper and think about them and write down whether it worked or not. And if they're not, if they don't, you can get rid of them. And if they did, you can continue with those habits. Choose your own version of excellence. Create that picture in your mind. And I like this little picture below because this person's holding that puzzle piece because he's creating his own bridge to success. But I also want to point out, when he put his puzzle pieces together, they're in a straight line. And that person you see as excellent or that has success may have put their puzzle piece together that way or their bridge together that way, but that doesn't mean that yours needs to look like that, because everyone's version of excellence is different. Not only that, but you have to choose that excellence. Like I said in the beginning, if you're not going to get up every single day and choose to be motivated and choose to move forward, then it's all pointless. There is only one person that can make you successful, and that is you. You are your own version of excellence. So Real quick to wrap up, I just want to go back to our quote. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act but a habit. Create those habits and create your own excellence in your business and grow your excellence to something that you never even dreamed it could be, because you can do that because you will choose to. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope that you will join me again next Monday morning for motivation.